Hi there, my name's Adrian and welcome to Hyundai Power Equipment. Today we're going to have a look at the HYM51SPE lawnmower. I'm really excited about this one as it's the flagship of our lawnmower range. Right, well, let's see what pleasures await you in your box then, shall we? Right, well I've laid everything out on the table here so you can see exactly what comes in your box. First of all, we got the mower unit itself with its handle. All the control cables are already attached to the handle and I shall show you how to fit the handle a little bit later on. It's quite a simple little job, shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes. The next thing you get are the two wheel trims. Again, these just click on. We shall show you that a little bit later. Then you've got the engine owner's manual. It explains all about the engine operation and maintenance, that sort of thing. Then you've got the lawnmower, Hyundai lawnmower manual. It explains all about the different features of the lawnmower and what have you. Then you have a battery charger in a little white box, pretty much like a mobile phone charger. It plugs in the socket in the wall in your house, a 13 amp outlet, and will connect to the battery box. I'll show you that a little bit later. And the reason for this is when you first get it, you may need to charge your battery up for sort of 4 or 5 hours prior to the first use. Once it's been charged up and you're using the lawnmower, it will recharge while it's running. So it's probably one of those things you use at the beginning of the season. Next, you've got a spark plug spanner and handle. Then you have an 80 litre hard-topped glass collection box. Again, a little bit of assembly, but I can show you that. This is what's called the mulching plug. It'll normally be placed in the back of your mower, but I'm just getting it out so you can see what it looks like. This is the side discharge flap, again, for another one of the 4-in-1 functions of the mower. And finally, you've got your battery pack. Now, inside the battery pack here are the keys for the ignition switch. Yeah, they're stored inside, so I don't think you haven't got any keys. They're stored inside here, and I'll show you exactly where when we open that up later on and start fitting it. Okay, well that's pretty much the contents of your box. The first job we're going to do is to fit the handles. So what you'll do is clear everything off the table here, make a bit of space, and show you exactly how to fit the handles. So the first thing, as I said, is to assemble the handle. First of all, if you lift the handle off the top of the lawnmower and bring it over to this side, you'll see that in the lower half of the handle, there are two hand wheels, which at this stage we can remove. And then there are two little bolts and washers. So we'll remove these two from both sides of the handle. Okay, that's the two removed. Right, what we're trying to achieve here is to get the cables in the correct place in relation to the handle. And what we're looking for, basically, is to fit this on here, that one on there, on the little pin through the lower hole. And that's the little pins through the lower hole in the handle. Now the little bolts, you'll see have got a square head. They fit in the square hole and the handle will just sit there. Now once we've got the handle in position, there's just one thing we should check, is where the cables are sitting. Okay, if I pull the handle up, what you'll see now that all the cables are sitting over the top of the handle, which is absolutely fine. I can just show they're on the top side. They're not sitting underneath or wrapped around the handle or anything like that. It's quite easy to get them twisted around the handle as you assemble it, but that's the correct way. Okay, so I can actually just lay that down gently at this point. So the next thing you need to do, as you can see, I pulled the protective plastic out of the way just to show you. Okay, is to fit the hand wheel back on. That's the one. On with the other side, pulling the plastic back, on with the washer, a little bit of a squeeze, slippery little washer that one is, and on with the hand wheel. Once you've got it all in position, you can tighten up the hand wheel on both sides. There we are, let's just tighten that one. One done. And that's the second one. Okay, let's just pull this handle up this way, which is the normal place where it should go. You can at this stage remove the plastic packaging from around the handles, as I said earlier. You can take it all off before you start, but if you do it as you go along, it just saves you scratching anything. There we go. That's that joint fastened. And again, strip back the plastic from the handles. Okay, so you've got no more plastic in the way. Round and that one. Now let me just show you the operation of this. You've got this toggle handle here, and when it's over this way or facing down, you can see the joint is loose and it's quite rattly there. If you keep it in line with your handle, you'll see it's got a cam lobe on it. If you keep it in line with the mower handle and push it back that way, it locks that joint. And again, exactly the same on this side, it's now loose and locks that joint. The purpose of this is that it's useful for storage, because if I undo both, and now you'll find that the handle will fold back down, so if you're going in your garden shed or what have you, it's a bit more compact. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of assembling the handle itself. So that's one side locked and two sides locked. Okay, so that's the basics of the handle. Okay, as you can see, I've removed all the plastic transport packaging and what have you off the handles now, but I have retained the two plastic cable retaining clips that were over the top of the plastic on the lower part of the handles here, so don't throw those away, but you can certainly at this stage get rid of all the plastic packaging. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the battery box and how to fit it. Now then, it's a pretty self-contained unit and it's going to fit on the handle up in this area here. You'll see the battery cable is wound around the box. And on the back of the box, you'll see there are 4 screws, each with a little wing nut. So we'll undo the little wing nuts on all 4 first of all. 1, 2, the other end, 3, and I can count to 4. Right. Okay. So having removed the 4 wing nuts, again, the cable from the battery box will be coming over the front of the handles. Now the battery box is actually going to fit at the top of the handles up here, quite close to where you're going to need it. You'll see that there's a hole in the battery box here and a slot here. This hole is where the speed control knob goes through, and this slot is where the throttle goes through. So the basic position we're looking for is up here. Now then, you'll see that the 4 bolts correspond with 4 holes in the handle. So that's 1 bolt in through one hole and 1 in through the other. And then we refit the wing nuts. So that's 1 here. You can't see this, but I'll show you a bit more clearly on the other side. And 1 there. Again. I'll have to come round there and show you this one. Okay, so we've got the 2 bolts, and we're looking for them to come down through the 2 holes here. As you can see, that's the top one, with a bit of a jiggle. Yep, that's the bottom one. Okay, top one. Just all 4 loosely to start with. Making sure we haven't got any cables trapped here. Here we are. As you can see, I had a little cable trap there. I've just pulled him down a little way, and now it'll go on without any effort at all. Okay, now we've got all 4 started. Tighten up the wing nuts. Now, just finger tight with these, but fairly tight. You don't want them vibrating off and losing the nuts. Okay. Okay, and that's the battery box fitted up the top. Now the battery cable, as you can see, has a 2-pin plug on the end. It's actually a 3-pin plug on the end. And there's 1 male pin and 2 female. And on the back of the lawnmower, you should be able to see it through there, there's the corresponding socket, which has got 2 males and 1 female. Now they are quite a snug fit. Oh, there we are. Push them together firmly. You'll find that they can be quite tight, but they're meant to be tight so that it doesn't come apart, but it does take quite a firm push to get them together. So that's the battery connection made. Okay, the next thing to do is to do a bit of tidying up on these cables here. Again, we've got these little cable retaining clips on the handles. This one on this side, and we can fasten those 2 down on that side. Okay, just tidies those cables up in the right orientation. We can leave that one out. And the battery cable, well, you could sort of fasten it off, but if you want to take away the battery for charging or anything like that separate to the mower, it's probably best just to leave it across the top. Okay, so that's the battery fitted and the handle fitted. Let's just show you inside the battery box. As you can see, you've got your battery itself in here, and in the battery box are the keys. Okay, and typically they're sat in the battery box on the right hand side there, as the operator would see it. Okay, so you can just close the lid of the battery box, and the keys fit in the switch here and operate just like a normal car key would. Okay. Okay, so the next thing to do is to fit the two wheel covers for the rear wheels. As if by magic they appear. I'll have to come around that side. Okay, well, there's a central boss on the wheel and a central boss on here with a barbed groove. And pretty much all you're looking to do is to fit them roughly central, and it's on. So exactly the same the other side. As you can see, it took very little effort. So centralise that, there, done. Okay, and that's pretty much the basics of the assembly of the mower itself done. Fuel and oil in the engine. All engines need fuel. 99.99% of engines need engine oil. Okay. This is your dipstick and filler hole for your engine oil. Now, Hyundai recommend Morris lubricants, but what you're looking for, it's nothing fancy, but it's a 1540 or 1030 grade engine oil. And you need to pour it in here. Pour it in very gently and slowly so that as it goes in, it doesn't back up in the tube and it runs down into the engine sump slowly. And what you're looking to do then is keep putting it in, maybe quarter litre at a time, something like that. Put your dipstick in, pull it back out, leave it time to go down first, otherwise you'll be dipping it into what's in the tube rather than what's in the engine. But put the dipstick in, don't screw it in, just put it to the stop position there. Pull it back out, and you're looking for the engine oil to be at the top of the serrations on the bottom of the dipstick. You'll see there's probably 15 mil of serrated lines on the bottom of the dipstick. So you put your engine oil in, giving it a few seconds to run down, dipped it, not showing anything, bit more oil, dip it again. You can, take it gently with it a little bit at a time, because it's much easier to put more in than it is to try and take it out again. So keep going until you see the oil level, when you dip it, comes to the top of these serrations. Doesn't need to come any higher, but certainly to the top of the serrations. Once you've done that, screw the dipstick back in. As I said, the oil we recommend is a Morris lubricant. However, any 1540 or 1030 grade general purpose motor oil will do the job. Make sure you fit the dipstick back in tightly. Next thing you're going to need to do is to fuel it all. Let's just spin it around. Okay, I've done that before. Fuel filler. Usual scenario. No two-stroke oil or additives or anything like that. Fresh unleaded petrol, straight from your garage or wherever you get it from. Fresh unleaded petrol in there. Try not to overfill it. Stop the engine when you fill it with fuel. Allow it time to cool down, because if you spill fuel on a hot engine, all sorts of health and safety problems with fires and what have you. So allow the engine to cool down before you fill it back up. Fill the engine up, try not to splash any. Keep it sort of 25 mil from the very top of the neck there at least. Fresh, unleaded fuel, no additives, no anything. Back on with the filler cap. If you do spill fuel, obviously make sure you've dried it all up. You're going to have a hot exhaust here very quickly. If you've got fuel floating about, you start the engine up, again you've got a risk of fire. So make sure that everything's dried, evaporated or what have you before you start your engine again. So fresh unleaded petrol, 1540 or 1030 engine oil in the filler. Okay, so there are 5 controls up here on the handle. Let's talk about the 2 levers first of all. This lever here is the 3-speed function, so it's like changing gear in your car, and you've got first, second, third. Third gear travels a lot faster than first gear, and so on. As you can see here, it's right forward. That's in the 3rd gear, which is the fastest actual gear for driving along, and then as you move back, 2nd and 1st are the slower gears. So 1st will be a gentle walking pace, 2 a little bit faster, and 3 is actually quite swift. So that's the 3 speeds. Again, the engine has to be running for you to change gear ideally. This is the throttle itself. Now, right back here is slow, and the further away you push it is the accelerator. Basically, like the accelerator on your car, and will speed the engine up. until you get to a point at about 90% down, and that last little bit is the choke position. So right down as far forward as it'll go is where you need to have it to start the lawnmower. So okay, if you'd have put oil and fuel in the machine, it would be ready to go. You would push this lever fully forward, right forward, which is the choke position, and then basically turn your key after pulling this front handle back. So this front handle is basically the operator present handle. If that's not back, the engine will not start. And again, exactly the same scenario. If you let go of that handle while it's running and it comes forward, that will stop the engine. So that theoretically is just stop switch. So pull it back, choke position, turn the key, engine will run over, fire to tick over. Once it starts, just pull this little lever back just a touch to remove the choke, and you'll hear the engine revving quite smoothly. If at any time you let go of this handle, the engine will stop. So it basically, if you let go of the handle or walk away from the mower, the engine will stop. And to start it again, back with the handle, back down to choke if the engine's cold, or you could just leave it in the normal position if it's not. Turn the key and it'll start up again. So that's pretty much the start-stop procedure. This handle at the back here actually engages the drive. So as you pull this handle forward to here, the drive will engage and off it will go. Again, with 3 separate speeds. So that's to engage the drive, that's to allow the motor to start, to stop, 3 speeds, throttle, choke. And that's pretty much the operator's sort of hand controls at the operator position. You fueled it, you oiled it, you're ready to go. We've explained the controls. You pull this lever down, right down to the bottom, choke is on, pull this handle back, turn the key, engine fires. Once she's fired up, just drop the throttle back a little bit to remove the choke, and it's ready to mow. 3 speeds, first, second, third. We're in third gear here now, flat out. When you pull the rear handle, off she goes and you're cutting grass. Okay, so the first of the 4-in-1 functions would be what we call cut and collect, which is pretty much what you all know. You know, you cut the lawn, it discharges into the basket and you take it to your compost heap. So I'll show you how that goes together. A little bit of assembly needed on the basket. As you can see, it's not fully assembled on this wire loop. There's some little plastic grooves here. And basically, the little plastic channel fits over the wire. Pretty simple. That one over there. That one over there on the side. Well, you can pick this one up and you'll see exactly what I'm doing. There's a little circular channel there, and basically I'm putting it over the top of the bar. And that's pretty much the basket assembly. There's not much of an assembly, but that's it. Okay, you'll see on the top of the basket here, both sides are a hook. And when you lift the flap on the back of your mower, you'll see the 2 silver springs at the top. They're probably pretty obvious when you lift the flap, you'll be able to see them. Those hooks sit over the top of those, lid goes down, that's the basket fitted. And that's what we call cut and collect. Now, obviously, as you're cutting your lawn, blade will cut the grass throws into the box. When the box is full, you empty it into your compost heap or where have you, and carry on until it needs emptying again. That's cut and collect. The next one we're going to show you is cut and drop. Pretty much exactly the same idea, except no basket involved. So we take the basket away, close the flap on the back. As you're cutting the lawn, it'll come shooting out the back, down through this spout, and basically drop the grass back onto the lawn for composting down or what have you. So that's cut and drop. Okay, the third one, cut and mulch. Now, I did show you this earlier on. It's what we call the mulching plug. Now this fits in the back under here. There's a great big square hole and it fits in there very simply, and that blocks the discharge from the mower. Now there's no area now for the grass to come out from within the cutting tray. So what happens is the grass goes round and round and it cuts it much finer, is what's called mulching, and then eventually when it gets to a fine chop state it'll drop out of the bottom and it'll be mulched grass rather than long lengths of grass left on your lawn. So that's cut and mulch. Okay, the fourth one, I'll have to turn the mower around to show you this one. Oh, here we go. Cut and side discharge. So if we want a side discharge, we've got this chute here. We've blocked the discharge from the back with a mulching plug. If I lift up the side discharge flap, I can just about do it blind, there we are. That's the side discharge chute in position. Now, side discharge is very useful for when you've got really long grass. It takes less energy for the mower to throw it out of the side than it does to throw it out of the back when you've got really long grass, maybe first cut of the season, something like that. So if you're doing first cut of the season or it's particularly wet or what have you, it can put a lot of load on the mower, even though this is a very powerful mower, but it can put quite a lot of load on it to be able to force it out through the back into a basket or what have you. So if you use the side discharge, it'll throw the cut grass straight out of the side and it'll be able to achieve, much quicker results with really long or wet grass, that sort of thing, if you use the side discharge. So that's the side discharge. Well, we've got it this way round. Let me just show you the height adjuster on the machine. You'll see this plastic handle here. Now let me just show you this. That's the height adjuster. And as you can see, from top height to bottom height, single point height adjustment, all four wheels come up uniformly all at once. Let's have a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. So that would be right up high for really long grass, somewhere in the middle with down there, and for really short grass, if it's really, really flat, you'd be right down on the lower position. But you can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to the top, and it's as simple as that. Single point, all wheel adjustment from one handle, single point adjustment. Absolutely great feature on this mower. Okay, right, so that's pretty much the 4-in-1 function. Okay, let's talk about some of the features of your lawnmower. First of all, as we mentioned earlier on, it's electric start. What a great feature that is. There's none of this bending down, yanking the pull start, all that rubbish. Turn the key, off to go. Should your battery be flat, you have got the option of pull starting it. As you can see on the top of the engine here, you do have your pull start. Now this does have an operating position. If you pull it right out, you'll see there's a little pigtail up here, and you can just hook the lead in, and there's your pull starter now, handy for the operator. If you've got a flat battery, beginning of the season, you've forgotten to charge it before you start, or even when you get it brand new, I suppose you can pull start it to use it if you're desperate to use it straight away. We do recommend you charge the battery up first, sort of overnight or for 5 or 6 hours. But you have got the option of starting it with a pull start as you would a conventional mower. On the subject of charging the battery, let's just talk you through the battery charger. As I mentioned earlier on, you do have a battery charger, a bit like a mobile phone charger. 13 amp standard UK pin, a 3-pin plug, a little mobile phone type jack plug, and that fits in the bottom of the battery box, right here, little socket, clicks in. I won't unravel it, there's quite a long length of lead, you can plug it into the wall in your garage or wherever's convenient that you've got a power supply and charge the battery up. Overnight would be great, or 5-6 hours typically, and you'd have a fully charged battery. When the engine's running, it will recharge the battery, so if you've got a charged battery, you start your lawnmower, you cut your lawn, what have you, it'll recharge your battery as it's running, ready for next time when you want to start it. Okay, so that's the battery charging. Next is your warranty sheet that comes in with it. Once you purchase your lawnmower, remember to register your warranty. Now all the information is on here for you to fill in. It's a pretty straightforward sheet. You can fill in all the information and post it back to us. And you can also do it online as well. I believe you can. It can be posted, emailed, or it can be faxed using the contact information that's on there below. Okay, so that's your warranty registration. It's important that you do that. Okay, that's that. A few other great features with this machine. We talked about the single point height adjustment. Let me just show you that again. You've got a long piece of grass in your area, in your garden, where you don't mow it very often, you don't really care about it too much, but you want to mow the long stuff, and then you want to go up to somewhere where you do look after it, it's nice and short. So, bottom of the adjustment, top of the adjustment, you're there, straight away, it's done, it's seconds, single point, all 4 wheels with one handle. That's the height adjustment, great. All these 4 wheels, all got sealed proper bearings in them, none of this plastic stuff that you get in some lawnmowers. Proper sealed bearings in all the wheels, and as you can see, look at the size of these rear wheels. I think they're around 300 mil size, getting on a foot in diameter, these rear wheels. They'll go over rough terrain and all sorts. You're not going to get stuck in molehills and little rabbit scratchings and what have you with these wheels, and end up sort of dropping down dips and what have you. Good sturdy sized wheels. 196cc petrol 4-stroke engine. Great bit of kit. We've used this sort of machine on engine on quite a lot of machinery, and it's really reliable, nice, smooth running engine. 51 centimeters cut, it's a 51 SPE. I believe it's 508 millimeters, but 51 centimeters for round numbers. I mean, it covers a big area in one swathe. You're not walking up and down several hundred times. You can drop, if you've got a huge lawn, this is the machine for you for larger lawns. It's going to save you time. You're going up and down half as often because you're cutting a wider strip. Okay, well, And you know, as we mentioned, the great feature is its electric start, it's self-propelled, it's 3-speed, it's 4-in-1, it's the flagship model. It really is a good bit of kit. Got a little trick up its sleeve. See this here? Connect your garden hose pipe to it when you're finished. Little hose lock connection. Connect it on, leave the engine running, let it run for a few minutes. The blade goes round and round, splashes the water all round and round, and will clean the underside of your deck. You know what it's like, if you leave it too long, it'll all crust up, it'll affect the efficiency and all the rest of it. And when you've got dried hard grass under there, it's an almighty job to get it out. It really needs a hammer and chisel job. Hose pipe on it, after every time you use it, water flicks around, cleans all the pan out. You can have a look at it underneath afterwards if you like. It's just a time-saving, labour-saving way of doing it. Connect your hose pipe to it, the water washes the underside of the deck down. Great little feature again. Okay, well, thank you for purchasing your 51 SPE lawnmower. It's a great bit of kit, we're very proud of it, and I've been Adrian. Happy mowing.